like the thing that we're all trying to control. Let me go back to my original thought first, so it kind of makes more sense, I guess. But we put a lot more emphasis on expectations than we do trusting what is unseen. Like, for example, our feelings and what we see in the physical can be mismatched to our perception sometimes, because we are expecting things to be a certain way based on how we feel, and when we don't see it with our physical eyes, we start to doubt or mismanage the energy we have. And what that means is you want to control the outside instead of just tuning into the inside. If God works in mysterious ways, mysterious being the key word, then that means what's unseen and what's unknown and what cannot be touched or smelled in the physical realm will always hold more of what should hold more of our trust than what's in the physical, because then we can manipulate, maneuver things when we physically see them, but it's already been through a process of creation through emotionality to be here at whatever frequency that we're on, because that determines how we perceive it and how we use it in the material world. Capricorn is I use. So, and Virgo manipulates, Taurus sustains. All earth energy, right? So we all get here through a vortex, a matrix, a womb, which is what we're still in, which is what we still use. And even the seed that comes from a man to impregnate a woman, that man still came out of a woman. Okay? So it's not to say one is better than the other or more important than the other. It's just that we've been indoctrinated to believe that a woman has no significant value other than reproducing, and that's it. But think about what reproduction actually is. Like, you're taking something and making more of it. So if I'm constantly making more of something, if I'm constantly expanding something or restricting, because sometimes you can make a lot of something and you have no space, and other times you can make a lot of something and it creates more. It all depends on your frequency. So the mysteriousness, the darkness, the negativity, the chaos is what everyone is afraid of when it comes to their material, right? So in your material world, you're afraid of unknown. You're afraid of mystery. You're afraid of chaos and rebellion, because you automatically take that to mean that something's bad or something is wrong, when actually it's your beginning stages of the manifestation of your emotionality working behind the scenes. And we should always take that full journey with a smile, because you're still creating, you're still here, you still exist, you still have that willpower to pull things into existence solely based on what you are on the inside, not what you can touch or manipulate on the outside. You cannot manipulate chaos. You cannot manipulate what you can't see. And that should be a blanket realization for us, because a lot of people try to manipulate what they think they're seeing, only to find out it's not what they thought, because they weren't tapped into the inside. They were only focused on the outside. And only those who are aware of what's on the inside are able to manipulate better what is to be produced and created on the outside. So I say that to say, be very aware of how you feel on the inside, because feelings are indicators of what's going on. It smells like rotten eggs. Feelings are indicators of what's going on the inside, your inside world. So if you're having a feeling of doubt, despair, questioning your reality, things of that nature, then surely it's because you feel like you don't have a good grip on the physical reality. And instead of allowing yourself to not have control or a grip on the physical reality, you want to find a way to manipulate what you're trying to manipulate, be it people, or witchcraft, to manipulate things. And even with that being said, witchcraft, that's a blanket terminology to say that you're manipulating, elements into your favor by any means necessary. And I'm not saying that it's bad. Manipulation is alchemy. It's just the perception, the intention, all of that matters very greatly. What I'm saying is, when you use physical means to reconstruct your physical reality and you're not tapped into what's going on the inside, it kind of becomes pointless, because then you're going to have to keep manipulating, thinking that, oh, I'm just manipulating what I see. Like, no, you have to manipulate from what you don't see. You have to do it from that place. Because when you manipulate something from a place of the unseen realm, and you use representations of what's inside as a physical, which is why when you do any type of crafting, any type of work, as we would call it, whenever you do any type of work, it's best that you use items that only you correlate what's on the inside, not based on what other people say. You can use a grimoire or whatever of ancient wisdom, but at the end of the day, this is supposed to be curtailed to who you are and what you feel on the inside. So if it's saying for you to use a certain herb or a certain color, but if you don't resonate on the inside with the same meaning of that, if it doesn't fit you, why would you use it? Okay? You got to do what works best for you. You got to work with what works best for you. And that requires you to be tapped into how you feel about things. It's how you feel about things and what you pick up from different things, like how you resonate with certain things will be your indicator of what you should use, what you shouldn't use, or how to use it. And you go from there. Never really, put too much emphasis on, well, this person said this is best and that person said this is best. Okay, that's great that they, found that information to be helpful for them, but is it helpful for you? Because not everybody is meant to do the same thing, and get the same results. It has to, because then that's just perfunctory. Again, that's you trying to use the result to create a new result instead of looking at the root of a situation. And the root, it cannot be seen. It can only be felt. And if you don't feel that deeply about something, that's as far as your work is going to go. I even have moments and instances where I've done work and I'm just like, oh, okay, very, I felt it to do it, so I did. But then it was like, it wasn't deeper of a feeling that I had to do other things of work, other certain works, because of emotionally, it just was deep, something really, really deep was being dredged up. And that's usually where the best work happens, is when you're digging deep within yourself to pull something out of you that will help you transform yourself as an individual on a spiritual level, and then you use that energy to do work. That's where your best work is going to come from, when you can do shadow work, so it's not cavalier or shallow. It's coming from a very deep place, and it's not about the physical. It's not about the physical. When we make things about materialism, that's when we start to tap into the devil energy. Because the devil card is about being bound to the material world, when you can always just let it go. And a lot of people have a hard time letting go of, physical things, whether it be a job, a car, a house, people, a certain lifestyle. They have a hard time letting it go because they feel like, well, if I let this go, then I'll have nothing. And it's like, do you even know what nothing means? Do you know what nothing actually is? And did you know that it's very different from being empty? That's not the same thing. So, as a society, if everyone chose to find their oneness in their nothingness, allow themselves to understand what emptiness is, and not feel like they have to cling to the material plane, then we're rewiring the subconscious mind. And even that has its own war, because again, this is about changing your personality. First house, Aries, Mars. 8th house, secrets, shame, guilt, jealousy, pain, anguish. There's a lot of different things we could project onto why things are the way they are. But a lot of it is just, reimagining who we are and allowing ourselves to be safe and comfortable with the truth of who and what we are. And it's not really that hard. We just have to accept it as